Hi Lucy, it's Tuesday. Sorry for the bad quality, but I let my roommate borrow my camera because she was going to look at an apartment which we were both interested in and I couldn't go, so I let her borrow my camera so she could take pictures for my benefit. Anyway, today I am going to be talking about A Town Called Mercy, which is basically going to be me telling you why I loved this episode, because I really loved this episode, and I am going to explain to you why, because I watched your review and you liked the episode, but you didn't quite like it as much as I did, so I'm going to explain why I liked it so much. So first off, I'm going to start with what I loved the most about the episode. I know that's not the proper way to do reviews. You should do what you loved the most at the end, but this isn't an essay, so I'm going to do it how I want, and I want to start off with what I liked the most, which was the humor. I loved the humor in this episode. It just felt like classic Doctor Who humor to me. That's a tongue twister. Who humor. This episode had me laughing from beginning to end. No kidding. I was trying to restrain myself from laughing the entire time I was watching it, which I was trying to restrain myself because I was watching it late at night and my roommate was sleeping. Some moments that I can think of, you mentioned some, the part with Rory about his cell phone in Henry VIII's house or whatever it was, that was hilarious. And with Susan, that was so funny. And then including that and then into when he rides Susan into the desert and then proceeds to talk to him, and that just whole scene was hilarious. Him talking to the horse Susan was so funny. And probably one of my favorite parts was when the doctor finds the spaceship and he's jumping on it and like hitting it and stuff. It's a really short part. It's only like maybe 15 seconds, but that was one of my favorite parts of the whole episode because it was so funny. I think I watched it like 3 times. Just, he's like starts jumping up and down and smacking it, trying to figure out like what's wrong with it. And I think the one time he punches it and he like hurts himself. I loved that part so much. It was so freaking hilarious. And yes, that was the thing that I loved the most about the episode, was the humor. Next up, I'm going to say something that I liked about the episode that I feel like most people would probably dislike about the episode, which was the storyline. I really loved the storyline. I loved that the storyline was straightforward. It wasn't confusing. It had twists and turns, but not like excessively so. I mean, the main twist and turn obviously was that he wanted the doctor, which obviously led us to believe that he wanted the doctor when really there was another doctor that he was after. That was the main twist in the episode, but it was quickly resolved within the first like 10 minutes, which I think a lot of people would dislike this about the episode, that they would dislike how simple the storyline was, but I personally loved it. I loved that for once there wasn't some huge convoluted plot line. It was just simple and straightforward, and on top of that, I liked the storyline itself. I liked the whole concept of the storyline of this doctor turning people into cyborgs, one of them retaining some of its humanity and going for revenge and everything like that. And then of course you have the doctor who gets super mad about the whole thing and just wants to throw the guy to the cyborg, which I loved that scene. It showed such a different part of the doctor and I loved it so much. I love when the doctor shows his rage. It shows, I think, a more human side of him, which obviously he isn't human, but he is always around all of these humans and he protects Earth. He makes it very known that he feels strongly attached to humans. So I like when he shows a more human side, which unfortunately is rage. It's a very human emotion, and I like when he shows that. The image that immediately comes to my mind is with David Tennant in, I think it's, the episode was called Return of the Time Lords, when he has the gun and he's trying to decide what to do, and he's turning between the Time Lords and the Master. That was such an intense moment to see the Doctor in that state. So I love when he shows that side of himself, and that was one of my favorite parts about the episode, was when he threw this doctor out and held the gun to his head, and the guy said, "You wouldn't really do that," and the doctor responds, "I genuinely don't know." I loved that part. I love when you see that side of him. I don't know how else to say it. I just really, really like when that happens. And following up to that, I liked the line from Amy when she says, this is why you need someone. This is what happens when you travel alone for too long. I liked that line, and I think it's going to be a good opener for him getting some new companions. I don't know what's going on with that, because they made it out that Amy and Rory were ending their companionship with the Doctor, but now they're back again, so I don't know exactly how that's supposed to work out. I think I've talked enough about what I liked about the episode. There's probably more things that I could say, but I think I've said more than enough. So, Lucy, I will see you on Thursday, possibly, sometime this week, whenever you can get your video up, with your discussion on the Power of 3. And then next Tuesday, I will do my discussion, and then we're to the mid-season finale already. Only 5 episodes. It's kind of depressing. No other words. Hi guys, welcome to the after video bit. This is a new thing that I just decided to do right before recording this video, and I'm going to call this little segment, for the time being, the Nerdate, which is the combination of nerd and updates. I basically just want to tell you what I am currently nerding out about, because I nerd out all the time. Do it, it's fun. So right now I am nerding out about Avatar. I had seen episodes of Avatar, I mean the show Avatar, not the movie Avatar: The Last Airbender. I had seen episodes, but not until yesterday had I seen the whole thing. I literally watched all of Avatar in 3 days. I watched like a season a day and watched the whole thing. It is so amazing. About 5 minutes after finishing Avatar, I found out that this year they started a follow-up series, so I had to watch it, and I obsessively watched all 12 episodes of The Legend of Korra last night. I slept about 3 hours. It was bad. I could not stop watching. I had to watch the entire season of it. It was so good, and I was so pleasantly surprised, because Avatar was so fantastic that I didn't think there was any way that they could even live up to it. But I really loved The Legend of Korra, and a big thing that people didn't like about it was the fast pacing, but I actually loved that about it. I loved how fast paced it was. So I guess it's a matter of perspective. I really loved how fast paced it was. It was so much more intense, and there was just so much going on, and I really liked that about it. So that is what I am currently nerding out about, and hopefully next up I am going to start watching Jericho tonight, which apparently I've heard is a good nerd show. It has 2 seasons. Unfortunately, that's it though. It got canceled like all the good nerd shows do. So I'm going to watch that, and then maybe next week's video I will be nerding out about that. We shall see. All right, bye.